Hello and welcome to my video. So I'm going to start a series after receiving a couple of suggestions, but I actually thought this is a good idea. I want to try this. I'm going to start making a list of predictions, ideas and suggestions that I have for Kingdom Hearts 3. Since the whole Kingdom Hearts 3D series is pretty much wrapped up, and there's also the Welcome to Kingdom Hearts videos summed up the same. Basically, if you look through my channel, you'll see I've released quite a few videos that cover the entire Kingdom Hearts series, but I haven't covered the future yet. So I want to make a series of videos where I consider what Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to have and what I think it should have, and of course plenty of ideas I would submit, and you guys can of course discuss them in the comments below. So I'll get on to the gameplay and the characters and all the stuff you'll be doing throughout the game, and maybe gameplay tweaks and improvements, and of course all the Disney worlds I would like to see featured. I'll get to that in time, but for this video I would like to start with the plot of the Disney worlds. That is, what is the purpose of the Disney worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3? What I think the purpose should be. And also, covering this as well will also be the monsters, the various enemies that you will fight in the game. I want to cover this too, probably in the same video while I'm at it. And a little bit of what I think the villain's motives and plans will be in this video as well. So, I'm going to be covering quite a bit, so this should be good. So in the past, visiting the Disney worlds has been pretty well justified. In Kingdom Hearts 1, you had going from world to world looking for Riku and Kairi and Mickey and sealing the keyholes so that the Heartless couldn't get the world. And then there was Kingdom Hearts 2, where I don't really know why they were travelling around to the Disney worlds in Kingdom Hearts 2. I think they were just looking for Riku and Mickey and stopping the organisation from doing stuff. Anyway, the worlds were sort of guiding them from world to world to help out all the problems, which was nice, but it didn't really serve a purpose in the overall plot of the game, which was, I guess, kind of annoying compared to the first game. Then there was 358/2 days, where you went on missions in the worlds, and I guess that makes more sense. You're just going there to do a mission, and in fact Roxas doesn't like to hang around there and, you know, get involved with the world, so that was pretty good. Then there was Birth by Sleep, where there was various little menial things doing around there, nothing too important, but yeah. And then there was Kingdom Hearts 3D, where finally we were having a much more severe purpose to be in the worlds, because you have to fix everything and help the characters out in order to find the sleeping keyhole and seal it, which is their overall goal. So now, Kingdom Hearts 3, what on earth are they going to be doing in the worlds now? Because it cannot be something pointless. They cannot just be going around from world to world as part of training or something. I mean, it just doesn't seem really necessary. Maybe hunting for Ventus. Again, that doesn't really help either. I don't think that's like the main purpose, just another goose chase. It just doesn't really add any meaning to visiting the worlds, especially since we, as the player, would know where Ventus is. So it would just make the whole thing seem much more pointless. So I think, let's see, I think I'll need to start with the villain's plans. So we know the worlds are separated from each other. You know, there's the whole lanes between the darkness, between all the worlds, and they're protected with barriers. So I was thinking, what if this is what Xehanort could do as part of his motivation in the game, as part of his evil schemes? Let's say he decides to mash worlds together. Okay, think about that for a second. He takes 2, maybe 3 worlds and mashes them together, smashing barriers, like merging the worlds together, because the worlds were originally all one world. Remember that? The worlds, according to Kingdom Hearts lore, there was just one big world, but the Keyblade War tore the worlds apart. So what if Master Xehanort decided, as a wee experiment, to take some worlds and put them back together, just to see how things would go? Like, there's lots of worlds. He's not going to do it for all of them, try and reforge the original world. But let's say he was just creating, like, bigger fragments, as the worlds are, to begin with. So that's part of what he's doing in the game. He and his band of organisation misfits are going around and pushing the worlds into each other, crashing down the barriers and putting them together and mashing them up. But this is causing an imbalance, a bit of instability, and of course holes in the barriers which are letting in Heartless. So there's obviously problems in the worlds. So Sora, Riku, whoever it is, maybe both, maybe more, you know, the protagonists, they're going from world to world, or worlds to worlds, in order to use their keyblades, of course, to seal some sort of keyhole which restores the worlds back to normal. So why would Xehanort do that? You see, Xehanort wants to use the Keyblade War, or do the Keyblade War again, to basically create the same apocalypse as before, destroy everything, and, you know, cause a great massive overflow of darkness and destruction, and then see what happens, because after that happened the first time, you know, the world as we know it today, the whole realm of light as we know it today, was reborn from this destruction. So he wants to see if something greater or less, or maybe neither, will be reborn instead from this new catastrophe. That's what he's trying to do. So he wants to probably see what will happen if this happens to fragmented worlds rather than, you know, one big world. So maybe as a part of an experiment, that's why he's doing this, to see what would happen to meshed up fragments as well as the fragmented worlds. So he's basically trying to hit two birds with one stone. This is all part of just a big experiment to him, and if people get hurt in the progress or process, he doesn't care. Now think about what that means. Basically, if you mesh 2 or 3 Disney worlds together, you can have multiple Disney worlds at once. It means like you could take worlds like Agrabah and Halloween Town and put them together, and, you know, just have the two worlds and the two sets of characters interact with each other. It means you could fight 2 villains at once. It means you could visit areas that are like half Agrabah, half Halloween Town, you know, like sort of mixed up, put together in some warped like reality as a result of these worlds being mashed up together like that. You know, there's going to be like a lot, there could be a lot of stuff you could do by having this whole like multiple world in one type thing. You know, the villains could work together, the heroes could work together, maybe the heroes could work with the villains if they don't know them. There could be all sorts of plots and subplots going on, you know, like citizens sort of mashing up, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff you could do with it. It'd be really interesting. Now, I'm sure you're all waiting to hear this, so I'm just going to get onto it now. The monsters, the enemies, the various, you know, cannon fodder that you fight throughout the series. Kingdom Hearts 1 you had the Heartless, Kingdom Hearts 2 introduced the Nobodies, birthed by Sleep the Unversed, and the Dream Eaters from the Sleeping Worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3D. So, yeah, have you noticed a pattern? The Heartless originate from the realm of darkness, you know? Then there's the Nobodies who originate from the realm between. And then there's the Dream Eaters who originate from the Sleeping Worlds. The Unversed are a special case. They come from the negative emotions of Vanitas, so they actually come from an individual. But you know, so far we've had these 4 different enemy types, 1 that comes from a heart and 3 that come from realms. We haven't had any enemies from the realm of light. That's what I think they should do next. I think we should still fight Nobodies as they help out the organisation, because I guess the organisation will be dragging along the Nobodies to, you know, help out. Xemnas has probably still got them under his thumb. Maybe. There might still be some left that he can use to his advantage, and we'll get to fight them, I guess, as well. And then there's the Heartless, who are just Heartless, so, you know, they're always going to be around. We're always going to be able to fight them, at least until the whole worlds are purified of darkness, which is probably not going to happen in sometime in the near distant future. But we haven't had any enemies from the realm of light yet, and that's where I think this whole worlds colliding thing works really well. Now, we know what happens to the body and the mind and also the heart and probably the soul too. I think the soul is also a part of the Nobody. We don't know anything about the spirit yet. The spirit is apparently the spark, the whole spark that just connects the heart and the soul and just sort of gives you life. Without the spirit, there is no life. So I think the third game could have a set of monsters that expand on the spirit, and I think it should all be interconnected with the world. Basically, the barriers. I think the barriers not only keep out the darkness, but contain the life within the world. Like, every individual person, every individual creature has their own life, and it just resonates throughout the world. The world itself has life, and this is all contained in the barriers. In a way, the barrier could absorb this life, which is in part spirit. I think when the barriers collide, this probably creates a reaction as the spirit and life from the barriers, gosh, this sounds so silly, it all sort of bounces together and mashes up to create these beasts, these monsters, these enemies that are derived from the lives of the citizens or the creatures or the inhabitants of the different worlds. You see what I mean? we could have creatures that are probably more colourful than any other creature we've found. We've got Heartless, who are more dark because they come from the realm of darkness. Nobodies from the realm between. They're very, you know, grey and silvery and white just because of the nothingness that they experience in the realm between. This is from the realm of light, where there is life and colour everywhere. That's why there would be some really unique monsters to be created from this. So, like, in the similar way that the Heartless, they change form depending on the world they go to, I think it's the same with these creatures, whatever they are. I don't have a name for them because whatever I come up with is going to sound silly. Spirit monsters or something. These creatures, they come from the spirit of stuff. Like, they don't take the spirit from things. They're just based off the spirit from the things in the worlds. And they take the form of the sort of inhabitants or the animals in that world. So let's say, you know, I'm going to get onto what Disney worlds I'd like to see in the game later, but let's say Tangled is in Kingdom Hearts 3, because that's a given one, that's a popular one, we all want to see that. Let's say Tangled got mashed up with Agrabah. Now, this is how I think this could really work well. You've got, like, let's say in Tangled the world includes horses and birds. Those are two examples. And Agrabah, the desert place, that would have snakes and, I guess, more horses. Let's go with bandits as well, because there's plenty of bandits in the world of Agrabah. You following me here? The monsters don't have to be creatures. They could also be humans, inhabitants, citizens, people. They could even have these monsters based off the characters, whether they're good or bad. There could be bosses based on, like, you could have a Maximus look-like monster thing that you would fight. You know, I like Maximus, he'd be an interesting boss. But you know what I mean? We could have, like, a bird creature based from the birds in Tangled, and you could have a snake creature that's based off the snakes from Agrabah. But let's say we took things a step further. Those are low-tier enemies that you could you'd run into, and unless they attack in large groups, you'll probably do alright and fare well against. But let's say there's a higher tier of enemy, like a stronger enemy. Because of the reaction caused by the worlds colliding, these creatures could also collide. So we've got a bird enemy, we've got a snake enemy, we've got a bandit enemy, we've got a horse enemy. What if you saw a creature that was half bird, half snake? It was like a mix-up of the bird enemy and the snake enemy. You know, because of the mashup, you've got not only the individual creatures based off the worlds, you've also got creatures that are collisions of each other, mashes of each other. So you're basically fighting enemies that have both abilities, and of course more health, and they would in turn be a lot stronger. So you could fight a lot more stronger enemies in that sense as well. So that gives you a level of freedom for the types of enemies you can have and the different tiers of enemies you can have for fighting. So it can, like, level the difficulty a bit as you get into later areas where there's probably, like, let's say your objective is, of course, to restore the worlds back to normal. But in order to do that, you have to fight through these monsters. And when you defeat the monsters, when you defeat the Heartless, they release the heart. When you defeat the Nobodies, they disappear. When you defeat these monsters, they return to the barriers they came from. They return to the worlds they came from. Thus, by destroying them, you are helping restore the worlds. So I think when it comes down to it, you can eventually there's eventually a big boss that you have to defeat, and that releases an enormous amount of barrier energy that probably manifests itself in a keyhole. Then the Keyblade wielder in question will seal the keyhole, and the worlds return to normal. That could be the overall plot of fighting through each Disney world. That's what you're trying to do. And the organisation will get in your way. This is a justified reason for you to fight the organisation before the appointed time, because, you know, the organisation don't want to get rid of you. They need the Keyblade wielders, and at the same time, you know, they don't want to die. They also want to fulfill this experiment, so this is a good reason for them to fight you. So this would be a really interesting plot idea, at least from my perspective, on what they could do and what I would do. I don't know if this is what they will do, and I don't know if they have the same idea. This is all just my thoughts, okay? This could happen, but it might not happen. So, yeah, what do you think? You think that's a good idea? You think you have your own ideas that's better? Let me know, and of course, tell me if you have any ideas for what you think is going to happen, because I really don't know how they're going to handle the Disney worlds and make them canon and make them important. I'll get into more detail what Disney worlds I think should be in it and how they'll handle the Disney worlds if they include them in it. But for now, that's me pretty much done here for now. So that was the end of the first episode, the first video, I guess, predicting the future. So, am I a soothsayer? Am I a weird old lady with a crystal ball? Hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching.